Alright guys, welcome to another video on the channel. I know there's not been any uploading in about 2 to 3 weeks now, and that's because I've been grinding the game. I've been trying to rank up in rivals, I've been trying to learn new things to bring to you guys as well. And while I was doing that, I was able to figure out kind of what I was doing wrong, and that helped me at least improve my game a little bit. Because if you can't beat the gameplay, you should be able to at least win with tactics, hence the video that I'm making today. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you why you should create your own tactics rather than follow the meta, then complain when the meta doesn't work for you. So I'm basically going to be showing you how to set up your formation and tactics and what to do when choosing your formation and tactics. So let's get into it. So the first thing you need to know is that tactics are completely different this year, both on paper and in game. To set up a formation on paper, you have to pay attention to your player positions only because you're trying to maximize chemistry at this point for your team. The lower your chemistry is, the worse your team will play. It's very simple. I like to have all my players on at least 2/3 chem because I feel like it gives them a little boost rather than 1 or 0. And here you can see I've gone for the 4-1-3-2 formation because it puts all my players in the right position, leaving nobody with 0 or 1 chem. Now the next step is to head over to team management, and then you are able to see a list of tactic slots, of which I believe 5 is the maximum, and you can basically head over to new tactic and select the formation that you want your team to play in game. For example, I want my team to play the 4-2-2 in game, so I'm gonna come over here and select the 4-2-2 formation along with my build up style and defensive approach of your choice. So what all of this does is it allows me to get or use a formation that gets max chemistry for my team while also playing a separate formation in game without denting their chemistry. Then I can save this. And you also have the ability to manage your tactic as well. You can delete, rename, sort, etc. All you have to do is select the square button on your controller for PlayStation users and you'll see the list of options right there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about, and this is where it really starts to get important, it's have a purpose. Now before deciding what formation you want your team to play or heading over to YouTube and searching for the most meta tactics in FC25, I want you to reflect on how you play. What playstyle approach is your strongest suit? Am I the type to cross with fullbacks? Am I the type to play triangles through the middle? Am I the type to play over the top through balls into my strikers? Every playstyle is valid, and it's up to you to decide how you want to play. And one key thing is your playstyle should determine your tactic, not your tactic determining your playstyle. For example, I like to overload my center with my attackers while also having my wingers maintain width simultaneously. So I kind of basically thought to myself, and I was like, what formation can I play that would have my wingers very narrow while also having multiple strikers? And I was able to settle on the 4-2-2 formation. And this is one way you can purposefully determine the tactic that you want to play. The next tip I'm going to give to you is play to your player's strength. Now, as you can see in this game, I played a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and I used Roberto in the LCM position, which is his position, right? And you can see from the heat map how much distance he covered because he's able to play that position. And when I tried to play Adama Traore in that same position, who's higher rated than Roberto but doesn't have that position, you can see his heat map is greatly reduced, and that's because that player barely knows what he's doing. He doesn't know how to play that position, he's just forcing it. So right now, player positions are very important. You have to put a player in his right position to maximize their strength. So if you think that swapping player positions doesn't really matter, this is your answer. And I'm not basically telling you that if you put Hansen, for example, at the cam position, she's not gonna ball out. She's gonna ball out, but like, it's not gonna maximize her strength. The one thing you'd notice also in this year's game is that you see players with a role plus or the role plus, and if you want me to drop a detailed video explaining roles, I can do that. Just leave a comment and I'll talk about that in my next video or some way down in the future. But in summary, it's not super important to have a role plus on every player, but I promise you that if you play a player in a position where he has a role plus, you will visibly see how good the player plays relatively to when the player has a role plus or just nothing. And I think this point is very visible in the cam position when you play shadow strikers. When I use a player with a shadow striker base, which means he doesn't have a plus or a plus plus, you see the difference significantly compared to when I put a player there with a shadow striker plus. The runs that the cam makes are just broken. So I want you to consider the type of players when choosing a tactic for your team. You're not going to play the 3-1-4-2 formation and have Ginter, Gabriel and Laporte as the 3 defenders. You're going to get smoked, you know. You have to know the type of players that you play when choosing a tactic. Now the final tip I'm going to give to you is have a plan B. I would like to say have multiple tactics before going into a game, but I found that having just 2 tactics when going into a game is very effective, because if one is not working, you have the ability to switch to the other one, rather than having about 4 tactics where you switch to one, then you switch to the other, then you switch to the other. I feel like this displaces the balance in your playstyle, and it kind of puts you all over the place, because now you're practicing playing with a 4-4-2, then you're practicing playing with a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, then you're practicing playing with a 4-3-3 flat. You know, it throws your gameplay off a lot, and it doesn't allow you to improve and master one gameplay at a time. Now what I mean by having multiple tactics is you head over to team management and you see the multiple tactics slots, and like I said, you have about a maximum of 5. You add 1 to 3 tactics that you want to use during that game, maybe a defensive tactic, an ultra attacking tactic, and a regular tactic that you start the game with. And of course, when the game is in play, a way that you can switch to the tactic that you want to use during that game is by clicking the lower button on the D-pad and selecting the name of the tactic you created. And this would allow you to be able to switch to whatever tactic you want in game without pausing and overthinking it. Okay, so that's it for the video, guys. I know most of you already know how to create tactics at this point in the game, but many of you don't see the importance of choosing your own tactic, and I hope this video kind of changed your mind of some sort. And if you enjoyed this type of content, of course, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be here for another video. And of course, if you like this type of content, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll be making another YouTube long form video next week. You could also check out my shorts for crazy goals. I'll be dropping shorts as well, and hope you guys stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.